Peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people that struggle. What's going on? How you doing? If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. That's how it's going to be going down from here on out. New energy. Big Ma, peace, peace, peace and power. Tisha, what's good? What's going on? Um, Maserati Fox, salute. Hey T, T, hey, what's up? What's up? South Cackalack, I hear you. I hear you. What's going on, Jeffrey? Big Jeff T, Big Jeff Thomas. What's good? Uh-huh. D Fat, salute, 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 salute. What's going on? Yeah, this is um not any different than any other live uh that I've been doing. Let me see. You can see freshly shaved. Woo! Doing fine. Oh, happy new energy. Yes, yes. New energy. New energy and uh hopefully I'm in Ra. Peace. Comrade in the shot. There go that macho Camacho, boy. Hot damn. Damn, damn. Woo! Peace. Pico, New Haven, Connecticut, in the spot. What's going on? Dylan. Uh-huh. That's right. I know Orlando strong. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. You dig? This is my own. I'm right here. What's the topic? The topic is protecting black women. Wanda, what's going on? And it's a new energy. Um, there's a lot of things that I spoke on recently. And as always, I deal from a space um, of truth. And Gannon, what's good? I come from a space of truth, so it's not that I'm clairvoyant or anything. I'm really not, and not that I can see. Kevin Williams, what's good? Um, but certain things are just simple addition, and we dealing with science and math. We dealing with nature. Foresight comes with that, and many of us have it. We just don't live with intention. We, skip our purpose. Therefore, we're not connected. Kelly Mills, salute. Big Foe, what up? Denise, Bryce, what it is. So when we're not connected, hey, Cola was good. When we're not connected like that, it gives the impression that others are uh, better versed when it comes to these things. Um, all you have to do is be centered. That's it. All you have to do is be centered, live in your purpose, uh, uh, make sure that you are intentional with having minimal distractions, and these things become very clear. Nick, what's good? Right? So, things, 100, what up? Things that I spoke on. I spoke on us losing uh, two more rappers New Year's Eve, right? And that's has come in. They are maybe not well known, but I believe we lost 3 New Year's Eve. And again, another statement that has been put out there, by either me or Doggy Diamonds is that they're going to continue to just throw that rapper title out there, all right? And we've seen uh, numerous deaths over the past week with people who have been labeled rapper, right? That's gonna be, like we said, the new N word, the new Mister, right? This is the new, right, way of labeling those who they consider undesirables, especially when it come from us. But I do want to say that I always appreciate anybody who listens to my voice, who intakes the message from the information that I give, and you know, I don't take that lightly. I really don't. I don't. I don't have an ego when it comes to that, and I know, you know, that it is humbling when people continuously come to hear you, to listen to you, right? So I do my damnedest not to mislead, not to misdirect, and not to come from a place that isn't factual. And we're in a pocket right now. We're in a terrible pocket right now where the violence against black women, the violence at the hands of black women, right? And just the consistency with it lets me know that I have to be more intentional when it comes to giving our women strategy on what they can apply to their daily lives. You dig? Providence, what's good? 9-1, what's good? We just wish they were, yeah, more tuned in. Well, even if they don't tune in here, all right? Hey, Tamika, what's good? Even if they're not tuned in, um, to wish to miss what's good. Even if they are not tuned in, as long as it's in this space here on and on this platform, they can always have it. That's the beauty of this technology. It's always there and it's permanent, right? Unlike what our predecessors had to do with the written word or maybe cassette tape and reel to reel. See, I come from that age. Salute, 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 James. Salute, James Jr. Salute. Excuse me. I came from an era where uh, my father raised me on either listening to the radio, you know, uh, WLIB, BAI, and talk radio, and listening to real tapes, like literally reel to reels. Nerd Nash, what's good? What's good? You good? Meaty, what's up? You know, um, the reel to reels were very thin. These tapes are thin. They can uh, get damaged in the sunlight. That's why you had to keep them in these tins, these circular tins. They could be cut, they could be burned. Anything could destroy the reel of reels. So I was raised on that, listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, listening to Malcolm on these reels. But those reels again, don't endure the test of time. Uh, Reading those books could get weathered, they can burn, they could get wet and damaged. Um, Cassettes, CDs, the CD format is no longer there. So that means because we don't have that ability to manufacture that technology or the devices used to um, play them, we lose, right? So I'm grateful and appreciative of how technology moves. And this space right here, this, hey vet, this place where we are, as I said, is permanent. So even if my daughter doesn't listen to me on a daily basis and pick up everything that I've given her, she can always, right? She can always go back to this and see me. Um, and before my mother passed, I never had a video of her. Like, we kind of take for granted that people will always be there, you know? And um, this here is permanent, right? It, wherever it may be, um, whether it be here or whether people are able to take this technology, right, YouTube or IG or TikTok or any of these other spaces and formats, it's permanent now. So when I'm giving jewels, when I'm giving information, straight strategy is right here. Hey, M. salute, salute. It's right here. So um, my work is what moves, it's what drives me. This is what drives me. Torres, what up, what up? It keeps me um, in a space that when I'm on here for an hour, uh, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I can keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. You dig? Roxanne, salute, salute. So I'm very appreciative of the time, of the space, and how people are utilizing it, you know. And again, I come from a time within myself where humility is everything. Humility is everything. I don't own it. As I always say, I do not own the information. I'm just a vessel. So when it comes to me, I push it out. When it comes to me, I push it out. You know, when it's time to get hands on, I'm in the street, I'm getting hands on, you know? Um, and I understand the lessons that I've learned. I comprehend the theories that I've read. I understand, right? The people. Hey, salute, salute, and salute. So when you know, I digest things, I take my time to analyze the theory, let it play in my head, and then practice it, right? I go and then I practice it. If it's good, then that's something that we can keep. If it's um, not good, then we dismiss it and throw it away. So, in saying that, there's a new energy, right? We're in 2022, and uh, I've been saying it. Playtime for me is been over, even before I was released from bondage. Playtime was over. I'm always serious with it, sincere with how I move. In this space, though, over the past year, I've always done, you know, little lives here and there on Facebook and exposed a lot of who I was. But now, salute, salute. Now, the timing is critical because we have to get our people in a space where we not only suggest, but we demand that we take care of each other, that our tribe is able to pull from and push and exchange everything, resources, information, and at times physically have to be there. We have to do that. You dig? Salute, salute, think tank, salute. Paper doll, salute, happy new energy. So this is what I'm saying. We have to move like we don't have time to waste. And we don't. We haven't had any time to waste in a very, very long time. We just really haven't had any time to waste. And that is one of my biggest gripes, my biggest triggers. Yes, Virgo Smith, salute, salute. That's been one of the triggers for me when people not only deceive us, right, or insult, make an attempt to insult our intelligence, but those who waste the time. So with all of that, again, over 100 shows on that platform on Doggy Diamonds, right? 77 utilizing outspoken, and you know, I know it has to be 15 or 20 times just on no filter, right? And all other various platforms. I always see somebody saying, "Oh, I saw you on Prison X. Oh, I saw you with Jade Arendelle on Fly Nubian Queen. Oh, I saw you on Infomines. Oh, I saw you on all these different platforms." So this is a wealth of information that's just out there. I don't eat off of any of that. None of it. Do you understand? None of it. I don't even eat off of this yet. Explain how this really works. They just don't. So people think you just get on, you're on YouTube, boom, you're on a channel, you're eating. It doesn't work like that at all. I haven't seen a cent from this, from any of it. So, and I, say that to keep that in mind, that when you do see people who are making a living off of this, they're attached to corporations. Different people put bread into it and stuff like that. It's very rare you have somebody independently and organically moving through these channels, right, and able to sustain themselves. If anybody tried it, y'all know how difficult and time consuming it is. And if you've watched me over the last 2 years or so, you will see that that was always my mantra. I'm not here to do that. And because of my study, because of my commitment, because of the work, right, I know that that has been a struggle for the past, oh my goodness, had to be 120 years. How do we sustain the message? How do we manifest the movements while remaining in a space where you're not a pauper or a serf? You understand? Or again, in a spot where you're not able to take care of yourself or the people. That is the biggest, and I'm telling you, that is the biggest challenge when it comes to, right, the human condition, when it comes to the social grouping, of one on one side, one on another side, right? And so far, capitalism, fascism, different type of isms and political systems, and all the terms, parties, groups, revolutionaries, all that whole grouping, right? There is a fundamental challenge between how do we sustain ourselves in systems that are driven, right? And it's not only by materialism, but driven, right, by finance. That's the challenge. How are you able to do it? All right? How are you able to do it? So that is always the struggle. It's not whether or not you do the work, it's how do you sustain yourself? Because in order to professionally get the work done, in order to commit to those, it's not even basic, but to those core principles, that means you are totally away from any gains of that system. And everybody struggle with it. I'm telling you for an absolute fact. If you study communism from the space, or Marxism from the space that I've studied and researched it from, you will understand that. You will understand that. And I'm not saying those because that is where I believe we should be. I'm just giving you a point of reference between what we consider us and what we consider them, right? And how you can understand it, right? Whether it be communism, socialism, you know that you either on one side or you on the other side. So when you're on the other side of that, you in all the way. Doesn't matter what information, what school of thought. If you see yourself as an entity, right? Hey, Brixton, what's good? Salute, salute. If you see yourself as an entity in where you have absolutely no problem, right? Earning from your work, then you're going to do what people consider selling out. You're going to do it. You have no problem with it. And I don't care if you're utilizing specific strategy from one side. The minute, and I mean the very second, that you walk in that space, you are no longer part of the other side. And the best undid it, right? The best have done it. And what people don't know is that fascist Italy under Mussolini, Mussolini was actually taught under socialism and communism. So he knew exactly what he was doing when he made the shift. Something similar to like a brother Polite, who knows exactly what the hell is going on. You dig? They know. These people know. They know exactly what they're doing. Don't allow them to fool you. You understand? Do not allow them to do that to you. They know. And that is the biggest struggle. It's not a struggle for me, which is why in the language, you always hear me spit it out like, yo, mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't gain from it. I will never feel comfortable gaining from it. Though I will never, ever allow my contributions, to allow my work, to allow my time and space and energy to keep me where I can't get resources. Because then, how does one lead? How? How? How does one lead when he has to stand on a corner with a cup? You understand what I'm saying? What army can you fund when you have nothing? So you have to understand where not only new codes have to be established, but at the same time, where old codes have to be pushed to the side. You dig? That's where you get into, where people speak on all these other little fancy titles, right? Right? Collective organization and communal economics and all this other little wild things. You dig what I'm saying? You know? Mm, 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 mm. When you look at it, blacks are in a state of socialism and communism. Brother Polite raising himself out. The rest got to pay for it. That's just it. We are not in no way informed, social or communal, at all. The very basics, everything that you do here in this corporation is capitalist, down to purchasing your gas at a gas station, or purchasing natural gases or oils for your home, or if you're living in a project and it's being provided for you. Everything that you do, even if you get sick and you're dying, it is funding and keeping alive this capitalist system. There's not one aspect of your life that they do not benefit from financially. None of it. You can't even worship without coming out of your clothes. You understand? Nothing. And it is done in such a manner of which that their think tanks create new ways to do it almost hourly. Almost hourly. Even during this pandemic, even through this new stage of it, even the take home kits or whatever they want to call it, there's a financial aspect to it. And I'm telling you that from someone who spent a decade as a slave within their system, within their institutions. There was not one point of that existence that me, someone who was not earning anything, you can literally sit in solitary confinement in a box and earn for the system. Just you laying in a cell. Every second is earning for the system. That is the demonic. That is the evil scientist mind of the capitalist agenda. Anything that you do, whether you're in an ER, whether you're in a morgue, whether you're on your way to be buried, every aspect of your existence here and abroad feeds the capitalist system. And the minute you find out a way to wiggle yourself up out of it, you are then public enemy number one and are hunted. That's just it. That's just it. So as you dance, or as we dance within our tribe and figure out ways to pull up out, ways that they can no longer benefit us, we have to be very keen and mindful on what we are doing and how do we proceed. Because the true growth of us, the true growth of our numbers, is based on our ability to pull away from it, our ability to chip away at those very seemingly solid bricks. You dig what I'm saying? That is how you become successful. Yeah. Off grid living is illegal in some places for that very reason. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like it's very illegal to be a vagrant, right? What's up, Bliz? Glad I catch this live. Thank you from Amsterdam. Yes, sir, Robeson. Yes, sir. You understand? Do you understand that? Why would vagrancy be illegal? You don't even have the right to go outside and give up and lay on a corner and beg. Or not beg, just to lay up. It is illegal to do that. And yet, even in the illegality of that, they have systems in place where they take from the working class and make them pay for homeless shelters, homeless programming, mental health services, all this nonprofit industry. Do you understand? That's exactly what the struggle is. So when people say you need to put your catchphrase on a shirt and sell it, the fuck does that make me then? What does that make me then? Trust and believe I'm not the average. I'm very, very keen to everything I do, and I'm purposeful with it. Purposeful with it. Have to watch it. I have to watch what I do because I'm held accountable for it. I will be judged for it. And if it's contradictory to what my purpose is, then somebody can humble me on it. Somebody can test my square on it. So I'm very keen on how I move, right? But it's a space now where it's becoming tighter and tighter. It's becoming more and more of a struggle because as, again, they are crumbling, they're not dumb. So they tighten their belts. You understand? They're tightening their belts and have their eye looking for anybody. That's the whole shit with this new thing that's going on right now. You think they really care about somebody's health? No. The head count. It's how many people do we have really off the grid? How many people, how many pennies are we missing out on? That's all this shit is. That's all it is. We don't even know the truth behind any of this shit. I know what I felt and struggled with for about 3 or 4 weeks. I know that was very real. My head is too sharp. I'm in perfect alignment with my body to know that something ain't right. And it still ain't right. I'm talking about that's been since last April. You understand? So, do I know what it is? No. Do any of us really know? No. But we do need to know that we need to be protecting ourselves from it. All right? Yeah, definitely. That's right. During the census, yeah, definitely. Everything that we view is ironic. Ain't that ironic at all? It's common sense dealing with science and math. So, I say this to say that, that's just how I'm moving now. Most of the things that I speak on will be here. I just don't have the energy uh, to remain in spaces that I'm not going to benefit from at all, right? Especially if you just keep putting things out and have no way to scale it, to see if it's important, to see if it's being utilized, right? Because again, look at what they have done. Even in creating whatever they wanted to create, they are benefiting from it because we are not able to group, right? I can't just go on and get on a flight to Amsterdam so I could be with the bro, right? With the comrade. Or it's difficult for me to just, boom, go to Cali, right? Difficult. Not impossible, but very difficult. As I said, they have us in a place where we are what? Scared to breathe. You understand? Nervous to breathe. So, again, is it their purpose? No, then we're giving them too much intelligence. We're allowing them or allowing ourselves to believe that they're that intelligence. Just like we can sit here, people try to make it seem that they knew all of the benefits of chattel slavery. They didn't know. That shit is, most of the things are stumbled upon. Stumbled upon. They can think about the initial damages, but these motherfuckers didn't know how damaging that would be. There was no proof prior. There's never no absolute actual facts, right? Never. There's never absolute facts. I learned that too. I've hit people up close with a firearm. Boom! Thinking, yeah, that's certain death. He out of here. That wasn't the case. There is no absolute with anything in the human condition. So they did not know that. We don't know. And that's the problem with being so reactionary. You have to be proactive because then you increase the chances mathematically. Proactive, right? And that's really what I wanted to get in. That's the build that I really was attempting to start off with. But, you people, you beautiful people, you comrades, you always take me somewhere else, And if I had, a virtual belt, I'd spank every one of you because y'all always do that. Y'all always do that. And sometimes the whole chat need a good spanking. I whip y'all ass because you need it. All of you. You know? I'm serious. I ain't even want to go there. Y'all took me all the way over there when my initial purpose was to, what made it that open your eyes? Well, do you mean initially or now? I know now that we're in a very critical time. We're in a very, very critical time right now where um, black women, melanated women, right, are suffering. And we it's immediate. We have to make changes right now. Right? We have to make changes right now. Right now. you know. So my evolution from the street, that's what. Well, my evolution from the street is that I was never all the way in the street. And my younger sister will attest to that. Even though I taught her, I raised her. Right? She was a gift. Will, what up? Salute. You know, when my parents brought her home, she was given to me. This is the exact words. This is your sister, but she's your baby. So I took care of her. Like, yo, 6, 7 years old, changing her diapers. I mean, everything that little girl was to me, I made sure I was to her. So, I remember us going on trips to Georgia to see the family, and I would be holding her hand. They would put us on a plane, gone. So I can always remember to this day what was said if anybody asked us any questions. And my sister would never get it right because the stewardess would ask us something. Oh, y'all so cute. How you doing? Is somebody going to meet you there? This, that, and the third. And when they asked ages, right? My sister was supposed to say, I'm 5. But she will always say, I'm 3 off the plane, I'm 5 on the plane. Or she would mix it up. I'm 5 on the plane, I'm 3 off the plane. So people got a kick out of that shit because they knew she wasn't supposed to be flying. We were supposed to be flying that young. I was 7, 8 at the time. So I'm always taking care of this little girl. So coming up through adolescence and coming up in Brooklyn, it's only me and her. So anything I learned, I taught her. I used to take my sister on the roof and show her how to shoot different guns, from handguns to, I had a little SK rifle, you know, taught her how to shoot everything. And eventually through her adolescent, she started hustling and stuff like that. Matter of fact, she's the one who gave um, Spliff Star his name. They call him Squiggy. And they was out in VA, hustling, doing their thing. And this was probably when I was in the service. And you know, it was that's my girl. But she'll tell me every day, you ain't ghetto, because she would be in different spaces that I wouldn't be in. Um, my parents, everybody would tell, they tell me that. Even my day ones, even my dudes, like, you don't carry yourself, you not that, you know. But because of how dangerous I was and the things that I was doing, it put me in a different space. So I was never street. You understand? I was never street. I'm not a hug the block dude. I'm not a dirty street. I'm not a street dude. So it was easy for me to say, okay, enough is enough, because I came from a different train of thought. Again, I had to read Mao's Red Book when I was 10 years old. I'm reading Che's diaries. I'm reading Fidel. I'm reading Nelson Mandela. I'm reading Winnie, Asada. All these books that I'm reading. All of these books that I'm reading. Hey, Cece. Um, I read, as a child. So it's just coming up and it's recirculating now that I was adolescent. I could read some of the things I used to write when I was in the army in Germany to myself as far as my notes, and I would read stuff radical. I was always against it, always against authority. But when you have somebody and you're giving them pieces of information, or you don't have an institution where you can grow from it, right? Um, it's dangerous because you create a monster that really, or a soldier that has a war that he's not fighting, he's not gaining from. What up, 213? How you doing, real LES, the realist, right? Um, and that's essentially what happened to me. That I was so anti-authority, and through my experience in the streets and coming from where I was raised, so hardened that I'm not listening to nothing. And if I could see it and I want it, I'm getting it. I'm taking it. You know, again, I didn't get high. Um, I wasn't a drinker. I had a little something like that in the service where, you know, you kind of protected in the service and overseas. So I knew nobody could see me. I know I didn't have the threat of having to be in East New York and Brooklyn drunk. So I had a little, you know, army buddies and drinking and all. But as soon as I came home, I immediately stopped that shit. I haven't had a drink since 92. So I wasn't get high, get drunk type dude in the street. I was focused and knew everything that I was doing. So if I was coming for your neck, trust and believe, you out of here. Out of here. If I was coming to get some bread, you out of here. No. I heard Blessings TV. I smoked one time, and that's while I was incarcerated. And that was only because the guy begged me. You know, he was a good brother. He just, matter of fact, he just passed away during the pandemic too, man. This guy named Perfilio, out of Bushwick, Brooklyn. Solid dude, real solid dude. Begged me one day, yo, come on, son, blow a little something with me. And I ain't like that shit. I ended up eating a whole cell. I had a whole store in my cell, like 80 bags of chips, 20 boxes of cookies, this, all type of crazy shit. I sat up all night, ate up everything, listening to Stretch Armstrong and Bobito. You know, I'm like, man, y'all do this shit all the time? Nah, I don't. That ain't my thing. That's not my thing. So, you know, I wasn't in the streets like that. Just like I wasn't behind the wall and in prison. I'm not that dude. I can do it, but it's a waste of potential. You know what I'm saying? And once I realized that, once you realize that you have the potential to be greater, every minute of the day, every second, you got the potential to be greater. Once I realized that, so I'm sitting in this raggedy ass jail. I'm like, if I ever get out of here, and I was definitely digging a hole. If they ever release me, I'll never go back. And I got my appeal, and that was it. I was like, shit, people don't get appeals like this. It's just not that easy. Got my appeal, gave the time back, and that was it. Never going back. Next time I go back, it'll be something federal. Straight up, something against this institution. That's it. I'm not, you know, it won't be no state versus nothing. Nah, that's corny. It's stupid. And it's living beneath me. If you allow, and that's why I tell people there's nothing that you can't get around. If they are allowing you to breathe, right? Salute Jojo Dancer, thank you. If they're allowing you to breathe, if they're allowing you to play in this game, right? When you earning an income and you're late, nobody is going to a spot where you doing hard labor, like chattel slavery, like yo, you out there in the cotton fields, you doing this, you doing that, where you can just drop dead at any given time. That's not what they're doing, right? They've softened the blow. Will you, under capitalism, die? Surely. Surely. They work you to death. 30, 40 years to get a pension. That ain't worth shit. Living on a fixed income. Many of our elders are dying under the system. And then they're talking about taking that away. So, but it's a slow death. It's nothing, brutal. But yeah, you will surely pass from it. So, as long as you are able, body and mind, to strike out against the system in any way possible, they're allowing you to live. Joke's on them. But it's what do you do with your time and your space? What are you doing with your time and the space that they're allowing you to survive? Right? Same point. Just do the knowledge. They say, boom, Al Qaeda, Taliban, those are our enemies. Right? This is what's going on. So boom, they bomb them, destroy them, boom, and jail them, put them in Guantanamo Bay. Brutalize some they didn't. So if you did 5, 10, 15, 20 years there, sent them back home, and you think that the excuse me, that these men, these individuals, some of them were kids, they grew to men, are not gonna harbor that? You let them go? Come on, y'all. You playing games. Fidel Castro was locked up. They let him out. What do you think he gonna do? Let him out, he come back, he took the country. So I'm saying that from us as melanated people, when they don't come into your home and just blow you away, they playing games. They playing games. But you gotta recognize that every minute your purposeful existence has to be to get up away from it. And that's what the building is. That's really what being woke and conscious is about. You have to do that on a regular basis. Did I ever meet Khaled? No. No. He was at his height when I was in the service. I gotta remember, when I came back from Germany, I was only back in the States maybe 7, 8 months before the first Gulf War started, and they tried to get me back, and I was incarcerated then for some stuff that I did. That's my first, excuse me, first time I was on the plantations in upstate New York in a system. That was almost 2. After that 2, came home. That was 92 going into 93. Khalid was doing some other kind of movements. I was in the industry heavy at that time. And then, ended 94. 95, caught that next case, which sent me away from the decade. And by that time, I missed everything. First Million Man March, Second Million Man March, the Women's March, the Family March, the Million Youth March. All that I had to watch on television. So I missed all that. All that. The only ones who I met during the late 80s and that initial 90s. I did all, I missed the whole 90s. You could just say that. Dr. Francis, I met her. Naeem Akbar, met him. Jawanza Kunchufu, met him. Deruba, met Deruba. Definitely Dr. Clark. I was around Dr. Clark several times. Every time they spoke in Harlem, I was there in that whole circle. They used to do those bi-weekly. I mean, not bi-weekly, bi-monthly. They would be somewhere else, and I would always go and meet and sit and talk. Leonard Jeffries, all of them, you know. So yeah, only 2 years in the 90s. That's it. 90, end of 92, 93, 94. Yeah, about 2.5, something like that. So they would come and, you know, they didn't have these mega churches in New York. They still don't. They only got a one or two, but didn't have those big um, mega churches. You understand? So any uh, uh, reverend who was, you know, solid, like Reverend Daughtry, they would come to his church. But we had a church in East New York, St. Paul's Baptist Church. The minister was Reverend Johnny Ray Youngblood. And, you know, he would take people to, well, the men's group, right? El Dad, Me Dad. They would go into, they had a property upstate, and the men would go through to the retreat. You know, they would hunt and you know, bond. He did the Ma'at every year, but he would always invite all of the authors, the conscious authors, to come through, you know, speak to the congregation. Then he would have them speak at the men's group, and you would purchase the book, have quick Q&As, you know, solid. So that's where I met a lot of them. And then me being, you know, sort of a nomad, East New York, Brownsville dudes is everywhere. So we would go and I would, you know, mess with my peoples in Harlem. Um, and then that's when I would go and see all the rest of them in Harlem, you know, speaking and, you know, enlightened and doing that type of study, you know. And remember, the nation don't really, they still don't, they don't move like that. They really don't. The nation don't move like that. Like, and you know, you, they're their own entity. You can't blame them for that. Do they suffer from it and for it? Yeah, they suffer for it because they're not welcoming. Um, it's kind of strict, and if you're not indoctrinated with it or by it, then they don't do anything for you, and they're gonna lose for that. You know, they will lose for that. So, um, um, you know, you know, it is what it is with them. But no, I didn't meet Khaled. And even when he left, and we're watching what transpired when he actually left, and you know, was with those other individuals who were part of his assassination. You know, Dr. Malachi York. That's a whole different story. We, you know, when you in Brooklyn, you watch the come up on that. You know, you can see that. And again, I want people to understand that when you're watching these conscious individuals, these woke individuals on, um, when you sit there and you're watching it on YouTube, and these dudes are derelicts. They always were. They didn't hold people attention the way this technology allows it to be done. So when you seeing them and you see individuals like me looking and moving and not really engaging with them, you gotta understand that. And they were looked at as street merchants, street vendors. They ain't nobody at all. So you had to be one who was really fascinated by the information. A lot of us had the information in our homes. A lot of us knew degrees, right? From the nation, 5% nation of gods and earth. So that's really the first um, foundations of a lot of people's consciousness. You understand? Right, conscious community. Right, exactly. We would go. I mean, I literally seen Dr. York grow from a couple of apartments to a building to a couple of buildings to 3 blocks. Like you, if you travel up and down Bushwick Avenue, you literally seen that shit grow. I mean shit, but you saw that movement grow. You watched it. You know, I seen that. You know, my grandmother on my father's side. lived in Bushwick in Williamsburg Project. So coming from East, we gotta cut through. So I used to see them out there with sticks and their staffs and selling incense and oils and his books and materials. And you were safe in that community. Trust and believe. Wasn't nothing going on within those 3 blocks. But when you got when you got a father and you know what's what, and Dr. York was the man on the number slips. If y'all know what illegal numbers are, and you get those papers and Big Red and the Bolita and the Green Line, he was the prince on the number sheet. People don't know that. You dig? Um, and Bushwick and what they went through to secure that area is not given enough attention because they don't tell that story. They don't know how they had to fight the Hasidic community to get those buildings and to maintain those buildings. You know, why? My mom made sure we had all that true knowledge as literature in the crib. Definitely. Remember Lee Grant's? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's when you from here, it's different, but when you're making an attempt to educate people using this technology and you don't have the numbers, and that's what they are judging people on, and other people not sharing your information, they can wiggle away and not deal with the truth. And the truth of the matter is they derelicts, all of them especially the young crop that you see. The older ones had a little bit more integrity, right? But these clowns y'all see on social media, please, nobody would talk to them. They wouldn't. They look at them like, get out of here with that. Please, provision, peace, peace. Foxy Moon says, I come from the Bronx, so I would go down to Harlem, and then I could move around for some knowledge back in the early 90s. Yeah, yeah, you know, most deaf from my projects? No. Most deaf ain't nowhere near me in Brooklyn at all. Um, I don't know where most deaf is from, to be honest, because again, they are younger than me, and I was inside when they came out. I didn't have no line to them, especially as far as hip hop is concerned. That they coming out of that D&D camp and stuff like that, which you know they didn't have nothing for me to go at them with. I was chasing your favorite MC mogul type dude because he was the one with the Rolex set and stuff like that. And yeah, you gonna get that up, 125th, the Mart was our area. We met everyone from Khaled to Dr. Jeffries. It was a different time. Yeah, yeah, the Mart, definitely. Definitely. The only time I was going to the Mart, because Blue was in there. And, it was some chick in there that used to, do good manicures and stuff. You dig? You know? But the initial, like, I'm over an hour in. He's from East Flatbush. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm over an hour in, and the initial dialogue I wanted to speak about was protecting our black women because it's getting out of hand. Detroit, Luciano, what's good? Chemo, what's good? It's out of hand now. So as you come in, definitely, like and share.